What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Danny the Bull, here with my boy, Ron from Ron's Crypto Therapy. How you been, buddy?
Good, man. Thanks for having me back on, Danny.
Thanks for coming on. How's everything going? Life, work, markets?
Pretty good, trying to keep up with everything. It's rainy and cold here, so, kind of a dreary day. Kind of makes you tired and lazy.
What are temperatures like where you're at?
It's like low 30s and
Yeah.
rainy and windy.
Yeah, same here. It's winter. But it's not crypto winter, right? So we can't complain.
At least that. Traditionally, February is a good month for crypto.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that, current state of market, what you've been buying, what your long holds are. I think a lot of people already are familiar, but it's good to, catch up after. It's been a couple weeks. A couple weeks in like crypto feels like months, man. I've been before we went live, we were talking about how, I've been busy and bogged down with work and life and stuff, and I haven't been as active, and I feel like I'm out of it in terms of like what's happening sometimes.
Yeah, things move fast in crypto. And I said this in a video not too long ago when I was talking about the halving. And at that point, the halving was in a little bit more than 3 months. And I said, in crypto terms, that's almost like a year away. And in trading, in terms of trading hours, when you compare it to stock, it is like that kind of difference. And if you look at the amount of trading hours that will happen Monday through Friday, 9 to 4:30 on like the stock market, and then crypto trading 24/7, it really is about a year's worth of time in stock market trading hours at that time before the halving. But now the halving is only like 75 days away. So, pretty soon you're going to be saying more like 2 months instead of 3 months to the halving.
Yeah, that's a good point. That stuck in my mind when you said that. It's a really good point about the round the clock nature of crypto versus traditional markets. And for sure, man, this time moves fast, man. It's hard to believe that January is just about in the rearview mirror. Come tomorrow, we're in February, and before you know it, halving's going to be here. So what are your thoughts in terms of, where we're at now and where we go? A lot of people have been, thinking about low 30s, even below 30. Some people have been talking about. Where do you think Bitcoin goes over the next few weeks leading up to the halving?
Well, right now it seems like it'll probably just form some kind of ranging pattern, which is what we were hoping to see. That it just didn't enter a downtrend to go, so that 38.5 would hold. And that's the area I thought it would find support at. And it did. And didn't even stay down there long. And the weekly close ended up being a fairly bullish candle. So, you have long wicks to the upside and the downside on the weekly. I would expect just ranging price action for a while. People are already starting to get bored with the market, and that's kind of what you want to see. There's still conditions favorable for alt season, and there's still things pointing to, potential lower prices. And when you have a decent case for up and down, that's another hallmark sign that you're in a trading range. So I would just kind of expect rangy price action for the next, foreseeable future.
And what's your strategy been? Have you been buying? Have you been sitting on the sidelines and watching?
Well, after Bitcoin hit 48, I sold some Bitcoin. I didn't sell too many alts up there because I was seeing if the profits would roll off into ETH and alts, and there was like some conditions to think that. And Bitcoin just went down so fast, and V-shaped reversals are rare. And I thought, obviously I was selling Bitcoin, so I expected Bitcoin to come down, but I didn't really expect it to come down that fast, to be honest with you. I expected it to come down in the low 40s or even high 30s, but that it would form more market structure on the way down, pullbacks to the upside. And it went down pretty fast. So, yeah. So anyway, when it did that, I was just hoping that like we find some kind of bottom and then get a bull leg in a trading range. And that's what we're seeing. So as long as it didn't continue that momentum down, was big, strong red candles breaking through 38.5 as well. That held up, ended up being a bullish close on the weekly. So I think a bull leg and a trading range is what we'll see. But when people hear bull leg, they think, oh, great, higher prices. Yeah, on some days, and that's the difference between like a trending leg and a bull leg and a trading range. You still get lots of reversals and, not consecutive days of green candles and overlapping bars and things like that.
Yeah. So what are you doing in terms of Bitcoin? Are you trading it? Are you going to rotating out of it into alts?
If it, I got orders to sell at like 45 to 46. Some of what I didn't sell between 48 to 50. So I'm being some selective on when I buy. So like when Bitcoin was on the way down after 48, I like not financially advised people to don't just buy the dip on every red candle. That's what all these accounts say: buy the dip, buy the dip. They condition people that. And
Yeah.
in an uptrend, you do want to buy the dip, but when you get that kind of price action, you're not in an uptrend anymore. And what you want to see is the market level off in some kind of trading range, or maybe a bull channel would be good, or something like that. But um, you just didn't want to see a downtrend, and at least we found a bottom. But I was saying, don't just buy the dip. Wait to see some kind of bottoming pattern and signs of reversal before you really start putting your money in. So now that I feel it's found some kind of bottoming and forming some kind of range, I look at specific assets that I like and see what kind of patterns they are. If they're in good buy zones, so like today I was bought Hello and TET and a few other things. Not huge buys, just DCA projects you like, but be smart about it. And if you know the market's in rangy conditions, then there will be reversals. So if those projects you're in have good days, then either sell a little bit and take some profit. And I mean, not the whole thing, like 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever you can stomach, or know that within the next day or two, it's probably going to pull back and some of those unrealized gains won't be there. And either be okay with that emotionally and mentally, or, learn how to sell some. So that's kind of the conditions I would expect, like rangy conditions across the board and things settling into trading ranges and channels.
Yeah. And that's kind of like my mindset. I'm not a trader. I'm a hodler. I'm a DCAer. And, I did some buying. I bought some games for a living at I think it was doubles. What is it? 2.9 cents, something like this.
Yeah. Stuff
That,
like that. Yeah.
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 And knowing that, like you said, things could like dip lower or whatever, but if it's for a long hodl, I'm fine with it because, my expectation is that long term it's up and to the right.
Yeah, and like don't forget the good projects you like, DCA, because people they love to know like what's new, what's new, what's new.
Yeah.
They always want to know like what's news coming out, or what new can you get into. And sometimes it's better just to stick with the winners. When they're at good price ranges. Like I bought some playable games today. It was at 0.043 or something. Like that's a good price. I mean, it doesn't mean you got to spend thousands of dollars on it, but DCA good projects when they're at good levels.
For sure. For me, yeah, playable's on my list as a DCA. Look, I mean, just look at the chart. It hit a penny. This went up so much so fast that it was bound to correct hard, right, during an overall market correction. So this is a good price for playable games right here, and this is on my list to buy more soon.
Yeah. And I tell people don't just buy the dip though. When you get these kind of conditions, don't just because influencers like projects are like they just always buy the dip, buy that. Especially people that own me, they've heard that from people for years. Buy the dip. That's just sometimes you're buying a downtrend, and you don't want to buy big red candles that aren't are certain patterns that aren't probability the price will go up. So yeah. So anyway, the whole way it was down, at least I wasn't buying buying the dip or whatever, and waited for it to bottom out. And then projects I like to find good buys. Like I bought Masq the other night. First time I bought it in a while. It was pretty low.
Yeah, Masq is another good one. Slept on. Do you think people wake up to Masq at some point?
Well, I mean, everything across the board, like a lot of good projects have been kind of weak over the last month or so. I mean, gaming tokens haven't been doing very well. BRC20 stuff's done fairly well, and scaling solutions overall, but a lot of things have been kind of weak. And in terms of crypto, like the privacy sector, it's good, but it's not as good as some of these other narratives out there. And a lot of these are projects that I consider blue chips, like Rio and Games for Living, and a lot of these have been struggling lately.
Yeah. Do you think the privacy narrative will heat up around election time?
It's very possible. Yeah. And
That's
yeah.
yeah, that's kind of in the back of my mind with, there's bound to be talk of the CBDC and like during the whole election cycle. I think that's going to be very topical. And you might see some privacy stuff popping off.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was one reason I like Masq. And you see it all the time. Governments, ban certain, or censoring certain things, and they ban VPNs. So some countries can't even get around it with a VPN. So Masq is a solution to that. Like Ivan on Tech, I've seen the list he uses to assess projects and all. So one of the questions is, what problem does it solve?
Mhm.
So Masq would be a yes for that anyway.
How would they even go about banning a VPN?
I'm not sure. I don't think in China. I think maybe in China VPNs are banned, but in a few African countries, I know for sure they ban VPNs.
Yeah. So tell me right now, what are your top coins? You mentioned Hello, you mentioned Playable. What are some other things that you're DCAing right now?
Naka, I bought some of that. Um, BRN and AGI, both of those I like. Yeah, this is a pretty good low price for Naka.
Yeah, this is sub 100 million, I think, right now, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, Knock is a good one. People sleep on it because it's, I guess, it's a bigger market cap compared to some of the others. But, one of the things that I think about when I plan for, my portfolio is winners keep on winning, right?
Yeah.
And look
Mhm.
to early in the cycle, things that run, they're not just going to stop running, right? This has shown strength. It's got strong marketing. And now I think more than anything, also, it's got confirmation from the market. And so people look at it as, something that's going to run. And so if you're looking, I think I agree very much with what you said before. Everyone is often looking, what should I buy next? Oftentimes it's what's already in your portfolio, right? Because one of the questions I ask myself is when I see a new token is, do I like this more than whatever it is, TET, Naka, Mcade, whatever it is.
Yeah, timing is huge with this stuff. And so like right now, where some of these projects that I would kind of consider blue chips are at some of the lower prices that I've seen in a while. And Bitcoin has stopped downtrending. That you look like it's going to settle in some kind of ranging pattern. I would rather buy those than do more like new on chain degen plays. But I still look at that. I still look at what comes out on chain. People always want to know what's new. That's the cool stuff. People don't really want to hear, buy Naka or AI. That's kind of boring. They kind of want to know like the new stuff that comes out.
And how do you position your overall portfolio in terms of like how many coins you hold and things like that?
Well, I probably got 40 to 50 or so, but it's good to diversify. And I always tell people that, it's definitely good to diversify, but responsibility comes with that. If you're going to hold that many things, then you're going to need to keep a lot of it in self custody for sure. And you need to be ready, like to have the addresses, like where are you going to sell it to? If it's on an exchange, like have those addresses saved in your wallet. Don't test transactions if that's what you want to do, and the gas you need for it, like are the decks you want to sell it on, like have all those things figured out or already know if you're going to hold that many assets. Have a plan to kind of have your you know your head wrapped around it a little bit, so that if there are conditions you need to sell or whatever, that you're not like overly stressed out figuring out where you're going to do it, or I need to do a test transaction but ETH gas is high, or just to add to the frustration. So it's good to diversify, but know that it comes with responsibility. Also, the security that comes with the self custody. I tell everybody to use Wallet Guard, and I don't get paid or anything to say that. It's a very useful tool. I know it saves a lot of people from getting scammed. Um,
I missed that stream you did with them. What does Wallet Guard do again?
it does all kinds of stuff. So it's not for mobile yet, but it's coming for mobile, and it's not a wallet. It's a browser extension that works in conjunction with your wallet. So like it simulates transactions for one. So before you do the transaction, it'll tell you what is expecting to come out of your wallet and what is expecting to go into your wallet. Also, if you connect to like a fraudulent site, it'll say it's fraudulent with like 99% accuracy. So yeah, it does a lot of good things. And it's free. I would encourage anybody to check it out. The dude who I did the live stream with, he's going to be on the Killer Whale show next month.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a good stream. It was like an hour long. I mean, because it doesn't matter how much money you make if you don't secure it. And Rabby, that's a good wallet too. So anything you use MetaMask with, you can use Rabby, and it's you can even upload your MetaMask key into Rabby, and all your MetaMask assets will show up on the Rabby, and it's got some security features and is better too. But I use MetaMask a lot as well. There's nothing wrong with MetaMask.
Yeah, for sure. Let me jump into the chat a little. See, we got Justin up in here. Have you seen the Omi move? Omi made a nice move overnight.
Well, I saw people celebrating on Twitter.
Yeah, let me take a look at that. I think it's sold off a bit, which is the thing with Omi recently. Let's see. It's a nice move up. It was like a good 25% to 74, 0074. See if it holds. It's got to hold. Let's see what else we got up in here. Justin, Josh in the house. Everyone needs some cock in their life. Are you holding any memes
right now?
Yeah.
A little bit of one, but just as a flyer play. I sold. So as the market was going down, I sold the cock that I had because meme coins.
Gotta hodl that, man.
I only like meme coins like short to midterm plays. I don't like to hold them for like down the road type holding. And if I see weakness in the market, meme coins, that's like one of the first things that if you don't want to bag hold, because they normally don't hold up very well when the market starts to go down or Bitcoin shows weakness or downtrends or something like that. So meme coins are definitely one of the first things that I'll dump. But there's one that I got just as like a flyer, and it's called Bear because it's on Pulse Chain. So you see this narrative, this cycle of like chain jumping, like something pumps a gaming or a meme on this chain, and then it's like, okay, what's the meme coin on ADA or whatever the projects on AVAX? Like you see that this cycle. So it's the top meme coin on Pulse Chain, which I think is complete garbage. I think Pulse Chain is terrible, but it's still like with that thing jumping around like that, I think there's still some opportunities there where you can make some money, and maybe the meme coin play on Pulse Chain could be one of those.
Yeah, I bought one for similar reasons, a small position in what's it called? It's like the first Kaspa Yoto. Just the first Kaspa meme coin, even though it's not even Kaspa doesn't even have their own smart contracts yet. So it's on Sol actually.
I bet Kaspa is probably a decent price to buy because I hadn't heard anybody really talking about it too much. I meant to look at it myself to see kind of where it was at on chart.
You talking about Kaspa or yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Adam asks, do you take any trades this week, Ron?
I just been lightly buying some stuff and Matic as well. Figured I'm gonna enter that again to long it, but I'm gonna look to scale out of Matic long term a little bit. I don't know. I'm not quite as bullish on Matic as I was going into as the prices started to rise. If you want to say start of the bull market or whatever.
Are you taking Matic just as a trade, or is that like?
Yeah, well, I got some holding, in spot too, but like, I've been managing this longer term like leverage Matic trade in the group or whatever, and it's worked out good where we bought it at like low levels, like high 70s. Well, initially it was 74 cents, and then rode it up in the 90s or close to $1 and took profit on 2.5x leverage. And we did that 3 times and almost a 4th time. The 4th time we just did miss to take profit. And then it swung back down. So I wanted to make sure, see some signs of reversal before I entered it back going the other direction. And it's just like you have different goals for the different things you want to do. That's why when people ask me, non-financial advice, normally, I always ask, like, well, it depends on what your goals are because, there's really not a one size fits all answer for these questions.
Yeah. It's goals, it's risk tolerance.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Risk tolerance. Yep. For sure.
Do you have any long-term, bigger market cap tokens in your spot bags?
Sure, I'm not, I think, diversification should go across the board, not just meaning holding multiple cryptos, multiple sectors, um, as well as multiple like cap sizes.
Yeah.
I made a video today. I haven't published it yet, but so there's so many projects, lower cap are good value projects. When I've done videos, small cap videos in the past, they were kind of long. Like the last one I did was like an hour and a half, and I did like the top 15 and 5 honorable mention, I think. And this time there's so many projects and so many projects people ask me to do that I'm breaking it up by sector. It'll probably be 5 or 6 videos, but I did the first one today, and it'd be like gaming tokens. So either new gaming tokens or ones that I think are good values, or ones that are maybe slightly degen that people haven't really heard of, and have small caps that could maybe go either way. But if you want to know a good place, like if something's got a high reward ceiling, there's going to be some risk involved in it. I hit a big gain off playable games, but I can tell that was not all the way up. Now once the market broke out, it kind of was for it, but it was not that way the whole time. I took 20-30% punches in the gut routinely on playable games.
Yeah. Is gaming still your number one sector for the next cycle?
It is, but I'm getting a little concerned about oversaturation in the market. Like so
Yeah.
many new projects coming out, and then some that I'll find every now and then is like good. Like one I found a while back is called like Cyber Arena,
Yeah.
and it's use Doge. Like you play the person and wager Doge or something like that. And it was pretty good, and it never really did much. And that's just an example of
That's CAT, right? CAT?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It gained a little bit, but then it sold off, and it never really found its footing. So I don't, and I've seen some newer gaming projects that come out, and they just, some are okay, and some, not all of them make it just because they're gaming. Epico, that I have that in the video, and I do like Epico, but to have such a small market cap, I would expect it to start doing better, and maybe it will. Maybe it will start doing better.
Yeah, I do think that that's one of the things to watch for in the gaming sector is the oversaturation. They're going to be, and they're going to be only like more and more coming out, especially, when a cycle hits, you get all these people trying to capitalize on it, and they'll take their Web2 game, they'll add a crypto element to it, and they'll call it a gaming coin, and in order to capitalize on the craze. And so, we do have to be selective. And, that's part of the reason why early on I said I'm going to buy ecosystems that have, strong leadership and, because then you're not just buying into just like, a hit or miss game or whatnot. That's why I like the Myrias. I like Gfal, Naka, and Mcade. You still very bullish on Mcade?
Yeah. I mean, gaming tokens haven't been doing very well as of the last, month, 6 weeks, whatever. And MK's held up pretty well, considering most of the other gaming tokens. So yeah, I still like MK. OTK, the other one that I liked and still think is a good value. It's held up well. It's still actually gained and had good days.
That has held up well. You think that's because it's on the Solana ecosystem?
Because a lot of things on Solana hadn't been doing overly well. It's had some, Myro and
meme stuff has been very well.
Yeah, but overall, it hasn't been too hot over on Solana. But yeah, it's been, OTK's been doing pretty good when a lot of the other gaming tokens haven't been holding up so well.
So what do you think? What are your top 3 coins in the gaming sector? Like your hodl ones, you know what I'm saying? What you think that, not, short term, Epico might go up and then you'll sell it.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like what's a good value now, and then like overall, what do I think would get the biggest market cap?
Let's talk biggest market caps.
I think Naka and Games for a Living.
Yeah,
definitely would be in that conversation. Probably Naka for sure. I would think would be in the top 3, and Games for a Living would be a strong contender. And
Myria.
Yeah, Myria would be a contender. Playable games, maybe. Shrap. I think Shrap's a little. I like it okay, but I think there's a little bit of hype involved in Shrap. But In crypto, it doesn't really matter. Like, if I don't know, it doesn't have to make that market cap and maintain it. It could,
Right.
but I think Strap it could have some good pump to it because they do a lot of advertising and marketing around it. So
And Becker, I think, is really behind it. I remember him saying that he thinks Strap could do like an alluvium this cycle.
yeah, I heard the game was kind of glitchy, or I don't know, people had watched it or something. I don't know, but I know they do a lot of advertising for it and marketing, and I think that they want to make it like a hot game or whatever. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think games for a living is good. I still like Medicaid. I don't know that it would get as high of a market cap as some of those other ones that I mentioned,
Mhm.
but it doesn't need to get those kind of gains
They can
because
have bigger gains, actually. Yeah.
of its current market cap and tokenomics. I know somebody out there said, like, I was saying, like, the Medicaid, but it's already pumped so much, and no, it hasn't, and that's one of the reasons why I hadn't recommended it as much as like playable games or games for a living, because it hadn't pumped as much, but it also hadn't been dead. It had good green candles, and it was at, roughly now at the price as it was when it came out. So that's why I thought, it was good, because if something's just dead and it just shows no life on chart and it's just been flatline, no, I don't, I normally don't touch that. But yeah, it wasn't like that. It showed signs of life. It just couldn't really sustain pumps and continue to the upside. That's why it goes back to, what are your goals? It's something that you can think of, like, what will give me good bull market gains for me to buy and hold in DCA, and then hopefully make a good profit for the top or close to the top of the bull market. And Medicaid is a great candidate for that. And Masq is, as well, because of the circulating supply also. So it's easy to project those gains. Like playable games, I like it a lot, but they and I like the tokenomics on it, because all these gaming projects release a lot of tokens every day. But with playable games, it's easy to calculate because it's 13.5 million a day.
Yeah.
But you still have to like project out, like, when are you gonna sell it? You don't know when the pool market's going to be, the top of it's going to be, or whatever. So with games for a living and Masq and these projects that it's all in circulating supply, it's easier to project than it is these other ones.
Yeah. And that's, I made these spreadsheets here for that reason, to try to project out um, to the and when I did this, it was like end of 2025. What would circulating supply be? And you look at something like Miria, which only has like 16% right now in circulating supply, but by then it's going to have 50% in circulating supply. So you got to take that into consideration when you're thinking about your multipliers.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So it's definitely something to consider and factor in. We had a question down here. Is the gaming bull run over? I would say absolutely not.
No, as long as the market continues up, I mean, gaming tokens will come back. They've just been weak
Yeah.
as of late. I don't think they're done, but I am slightly worried about the oversaturation in the market, and that's why I think it's good to people to also factor in the quality of the project instead of just trying to continue to get into new projects and hit new home runs.
Yeah. That's a lot of what I see is people saying, what's next? What should I buy next? What should I buy
Mhm.
next? And sometimes it's really what you already have and just building out that good, especially if you're like a long-term, by long-term, you're playing the cycle.
Yeah.
If you're a long-term, investor, then sometimes it's better to just, you might miss those short-term gains on something, but long-term, like the heavyweights will outperform it.
And plus, when it comes to what's new, all right, so I'm pretty good at finding that stuff, Danny. Like, what's new coming out on chain,
Yeah.
and lots of times people are like, but it's on Uniswap. You have to pay ETH gas fees. Well, yeah, but that's what's new. Like, I can't control that part of it. And then it's the same thing when it comes to taking profit, because lots of times that stuff will go up 2, 3, 4x, but it can also go down after that. So it makes it harder to take profit when it's on Uniswap as well. So you need to think about your goals with those things. If everything is for the top of the bull market, which is what a lot of people, their intentions are, then definitely don't try to get into every new thing on chain. Like, getting into new stuff, expect to take profits quick, because it can be so volatile. It can go up and down, and you can be up 3 or 4x, and then down 50% from your original investment. And that's hard for some people to stomach.
Yeah. Season 3 OG in the house. What's good? He says, where do you go to see how many token holders there are for a coin?
Morales Money is a good place to own coins, but it's got to be on certain chains. You can't, like Solana and AVAX, you can't use Morales Money for.
Are they adding? Ivan on Tech created that, yeah?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Or him and his people. He gets the money from it. I know that.
Yeah.
They're adding AVAX supposedly.
All right. Are they adding Solana?
Mm-mm. They don't have any plans to.
They don't have any plans to.
Nope.
Let's see what else. You got like another 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, I got another like 14 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, Ron's got to jump off soon. He's got a private video stream, right, with your Telegram group. Do you want to tell people about your Telegram group while you're here?
Sure. For those that don't know, I have a Telegram group where it's me, a few other guys. Danny, he's up there as an advisor. 2 other guys who are really good traders, and we put out lots of small cap projects, things we find, stuff I find on chain, moves that I'm making, when I'm buying. Lots of these small caps we find. We go really in depth and read the white paper and go in the Telegram, ask them questions, and check them out pretty thoroughly. So if anybody's interested in that, you can hit me or Danny up. You probably got a link in the description. We have an automated onboarding Telegram channel as well, and it's all on Telegram. It really provides a lot, though. Airdrops and all kinds of good stuff in there. We try to do all ways to make money in crypto and NFT stuff. And
yeah, they're even like project founders in there and stuff.
Yeah, even one's got his own channel that puts out like relevant, good info to know. There's a lot of just all kinds of good info in there. So yeah, anybody interested in that, you hit me or Danny up, and we'll hook you up.
Yeah, DM me on Twitter is the way to go.
So, and what I do in there, what I'm doing tonight, and I try to do it every Wednesday, is me and 2 other guys. So people that want, always ask me, check this coin out, check that coin out. So that's what we do on that stream. Is people, it gives them a chance to check their coin out, and they'll tell me, and me and 2 other people will kind of put it through all the things that we normally look at and do it live or whatever.
Yeah. Any word on BRN or TET?
Yeah, I think they're both good. Yeah, I bought a little bit of both of them. Yeah.
I don't hold what BRN. What's BRN again? Is that a BRC20?
Yeah, like a metaverse coin for it.
BRN metaverse.
Yeah, it's on MEXC.
Let's see. Yeah, TET, I have a nice position in TET. And TET has, I think, next week, no, a couple days, I think in 2 days, TET is attempting to break the record for fastest transaction.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe we'll see it run a little after that.
Another, if you want to consider a higher cap, Manta, I like Manta a lot. For something that's not so much of a degen hold, I like Manta.
Manta recently dropped, correct?
It did today, I think, finally. It had been in a nice little uptrend since it came out. It finally.
It just came out recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. This month. Yeah, nice little correction here. This is about a $767 million market cap. This is a blockchain, right?
Yeah. But there's a lot of hype around it, a lot of TVL, all that locked in and everything. So it's a promising larger cap play. I love small cap stuff, but when I talk about diversifying, you don't want everything to be these small cap plays. And I consider Manta a larger cap, safer type of play, less degen.
Yeah, and the good thing about something like Manta and layer ones is that they can run up to very high market caps.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care how the 20x gets there. It's just it takes less effort with a smaller market cap. I remember in the Telegram, Kari, he's the Masq founder. He said it's like kicking a soccer ball is how he explained it to somebody when he's trying to explain market cap. It takes a lot less effort to kick a smaller market cap soccer ball, down the field. And that was a good way to look at it. But with a project like this, it could get a lot of force behind it and it can get a big market cap, something like Manta.
Yeah, they'll get into the the billions and get up there. So you can still get very big gains out of this. Do you hold Psy?
Yeah, I like that for a larger cap project as well.
Yeah, this is another good larger cap. And
Yeah.
like you said, these, tokens like this provide a bit more of a safety net.
Yeah, exactly. I feel I would rather have it in ones like that, Psi and Manta, than I would um, like Ada and Polkadot and the things that have been out of market cycle. And it's not that things that have been on a market cycle can't do well, but like I say a lot, generally speaking, things do better in the first market cycle. And also just markets and assets need um, things to look forward to, and there's just more things to look forward to with these newer projects. Like the tech with this particular project here is really good. A lot of people like it. Some people describe it as kind of like in between Solana and ETH, kind of like the tech that they use to try to bridge the gap. But yeah, I don't know. I like it. I think it's a good larger cap hold.
Yeah, and that's the selling point for it, right? Is that it's ETH compatible.
Yeah.
What sets Manta apart? Do you know?
Well, it's like a layer 2 for ETH, but it's just I tell you when I did it, I got on Mansa months ago, well before the token came out to try to do the airdrop. It was one of the first things I posted on Telegram in that crypto hacks page, and it was the fastest I had ever bridged ETH from doing it to Manta. It was so I was pretty impressed by that, and it's just got a lot of activity and develop on the chain, and a lot of it locked away, and a lot of things you look for in these new projects to be bullish on it.
So you think a possible Manta run with the ETH ETF narrative heating up closer to May?
Yeah, and I think some people have been a little disappointed with ETH performance, and I think it was Ivan on tech said, oh, maybe it wasn't. I can't remember who said, but I didn't say it myself, that some of these scaling solutions and layer twos may be taking the strength away from ETH some. And it kind of goes by what I was saying about the gaming tokens and maybe just this cycle in general about oversaturation, and the gains could be a little more diluted. Like the market caps, the total market cap of crypto could still go up and be a lot, but maybe the gains are a little more diluted this time because of the oversaturation of projects.
What's your expectation for the market moving forward in terms of getting closer to halving, and then after the halving? How do you expect Bitcoin to move? Do you think that the ETF will accelerate its movement up?
I think it's very possible. I would like for it to just kind of stay in some kind of ranging pattern for a few months, even. If it settles into any kind of triangle pattern or anything like that on the daily, that can last a few months. So that would be the best thing for Bitcoin's overall health. I feel like I don't see it breaking over 48,000 anytime in the cards right now. But for people on the other side of that, because I don't care what anybody says. I'm pretty objective about this stuff. As objective as anybody you'll reasonably find, whether the price is going to go up or down. And the people can say like the long wick to the upside at 48K. Well, the candle to the downside at 38.5 is equally, that's not good for bears either. So for right now, I don't see any strong signs pointing to any impending huge move or breakout either way. And this is what you see in markets, that get big moves in one direction, and then people, they want the big move. And now as it ranges, they're continually trying to like buy on days when the candles are green and sell on days when they're red, when they should really be doing the opposite, when it's in a range. And so hopefully it'll stay in a range for a few months, and that, sometime around the halving that the market will start to go up. There's no guarantee in that. A lot of things can happen between now and then. The halving isn't a magical event that some fairy comes along and magically raises the price of Bitcoin. It's worked out in the past, so well, let's hope that it does again. But that's not a for sure. A lot of things can happen in the meantime, wars or whatever. So those things are always out there. Like we talked about earlier in crypto, 75 days a long time away.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have anything in the back of your mind that could like derail this bull market from happening?
Yeah, I've always said the biggest black swan risk to crypto is USDT, but I mean, they're printing, and 56% of it's backed by US treasuries. So I don't think the US government hates it as bad as maybe they feel like. I mean, it could be, if you really kind of think about it, like what if USDT is propping up the US treasury market? Like they wouldn't want it to crash. they would need it to keep going. But yeah. So yeah, there's always going to be tweets from Elizabeth Warren and these things that come out there to make price dip a little bit. But it's funny, talking about tweets and FUDs and things that could bring the market down. Did you see that Evergrande, that Chinese company filed for bankruptcy yesterday? So I remember a few years ago when some news came out that they may have to file for bankruptcy or something. It was a few years ago. It was 2021, like that summer. So that caused some big red candles. Like it was on the way up to the second all-time high from last market, the higher one, the 69,420. And when that Evergrande news came, it like really dumped the market, for a few weeks. So, but here you go, years later, that event actually happens, and like it's not even news, it's not even relevant. No one even cares. It just shows how they use the news to kind of steer the market how they want. Even with the old grayscale thing, I was real informed about the ETF and grayscale and everything like that. And I had a conversation with my good friend Eric. People that follow me for a long time know I mention him a lot. He's my good friend in real life. He's real smart. He's a CPA, and he's just real smart with crypto and finances and stuff. And we were talking about the ETF, and I was saying, well, because a lot of us and people that I know had bought it at low levels, taking advantage of the discount. And they were all planning on selling. He was planning on selling. I was planning on selling other people, because once the discount is closed, you don't want the GBTC anymore. You just like you rather have the money or actual BTC. So I was like, well, don't you think a lot of people are going to sell it? And he said, yeah, I do, but just people like us. And we were talking about the seed money from the different funds and how Grayscale's fund was so much bigger, even like whoever you want to name, BlackRock, Fidelity, or whoever, that Grayscale's fund would already be so much bigger than everybody else's. And I said, well, wouldn't that be a problem if everybody starts selling Grayscale Bitcoin? And Eric said, well, why would anyone sell other than the people like us taking advantage of the discount? He said, because if you want to why would you move it out of one fund into the other and have to worry about taxes and all that stuff? So then when it all starts to come out of the ETF, Grayscale is going to have such a higher handling fee, like significantly higher than all the rest of them. And it doesn't make any sense. Why would they have that? Especially they've got the biggest fund and they've already got it set up. Like they, if anybody would have a lower handling fee, it would be them. So, and going into the approval, Grayscale was kind of the dark horse. They didn't have a high chance to the other ones to get approved. So, just speculation, like, just thinking of theories about it. The other funds kind of say, we'll make sure you get approved with us, because it wasn't even a slant. If Grayscale doesn't get approved, then they're really, in a bad situation. But you have to do something for us and raise your fee to something ridiculous. And I looked into this, like why the fee was higher, to make sure I wasn't just talking nonsense. And there's actually been some people on Twitter covering it, not saying the same thing that I'm saying now, but just saying, why are they having this higher fee? And it's to drive people away from the fund. So like BlackRock and all them, they get a better price naturally, just letting the market naturally do its thing. They just sit back and just buy DCA every day like they're doing. But to answer your question, I think originally about will the ETF help prices? I think that it will. I think it will help prices, and it will absorb sell pressure from the market, because they're buying this Bitcoin and they're putting it away and not selling it. Like that's happening, whether, whatever bearish scenarios you have, regardless, that's happening. Why would they be doing this for some elaborate plan to crash the market?
Yeah, a lot of people have these ideas that they're going to crash the market because they want to buy it lower, but they don't understand they're selling this product and they want the product to be resilient. Because how are you going to sell a product that, drops 50% right after people buy it?
They make money off the commission and spread. Correct. They don't, they transfer the risk of the asset to the client and make money off the other thing. So that wouldn't be beneficial to them.
Correct. Yeah, I think people misunderstand that.
Yeah. Yeah, that a lot of people don't understand what an ETF is and what it entails and stuff like that. But it is bull. And I said this leading up to the approval, because I said I thought it would sell off when the trading went live, and that 48, it wouldn't go over 50, and all those things happened. But I said that it over long term that it would be bullish, and I think it could prevent it from having such like vicious bear markets like before, potentially. Now, I don't know that for sure, but it's a possibility that it could prevent it from having such vicious bear markets.
Yeah, it's really interesting. This is an interesting cycle because some unprecedented things here, and the ETF fundamentally changes Bitcoin. So looking forward to it, see how it plays out alongside you and everyone out here in the chat. And I know you've got your private stream in 15 minutes, so I want to be mindful of your time. And thank you for coming on again. And we got to do it again sometime.
Yeah, for sure, Danny. Maybe next time the market will be in a little bit more exciting phase, and have some cool projects to talk about, new things, and some new stuff going on.
Yeah, and thanks everyone in the chat for coming through. I know it's a bit of a short one compared to usual, but we get trying to get back in the saddle. Been quite busy lately, and I will catch you all in the next one. And if you're looking to join Ron's group, it's a really good one. You can DM me on Twitter, and we'll make it happen. Thanks for coming through. See you in the next one.
Later, guys.